Check. I always have to check this to make sure that this camera is recording. It's a Sony, what is this even? A Sony ZV-1 Mark II. And when the sun, if you're outdoors with this camera at all, you cannot see that the screen just washes out completely. I can't even tell if it's recording or not. If I put my sunglasses on, the screen just completely goes black, can't see anything. But I think we're recording. That's how I start all these videos. Maybe I'll edit this part out, I don't know. But anyways, all right guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to do another video about my Diamond C LPX 208 series trailer. I've been getting several comments lately just asking about the trailer for its use in forestry mulching, what I do, and how it has done over the last year with such a heavy rig. So my SVL 97 track machine with my Vail forestry mulcher, which you guys have seen in other videos. And I did a video on the Diamond C about a year ago, just my initial thoughts on what I thought about the trailer after purchasing it, just like my initial thoughts on it. And of course that was prior to really having any extensive use with the trailer. And now I think even at that time I had mentioned that I would probably do a follow-up video in the future after I got more use with it, towing multiple things, several thousand miles under its belt now, probably something close to that. We didn't track miles or anything like that. So anyway, here we are, about 1 year later, and I'm just going to run you guys through what I think my thoughts are on it, and if I would buy it again, and what my plans are in the future as far as trailers go. So just kind of starting off, this is, again, if you guys didn't watch the initial Diamond C, I'll try to figure out how to link that down in the description. Again, this is a young channel, so I'm still learning my way through the ins and outs of YouTube, but feel free to go back and watch that and compare notes. Although I do like the trailer overall, so there won't be a lot of changes probably between the initial video and this video, but just maybe some more in-depth real-world descriptions and experience. So this is a Diamond C LPX 208 series trailer. I'm just set up on a tripod today instead of on my gimbal, so I'm gonna try to show you guys here, give you guys some looks at it. Pace Setter Edition LPX 208 series. This is a 20-foot trailer, bumper pull, and this particular trailer has an 18K GVWR, Demco hitch, and manual 12,000-pound jack. Everything that you would expect on a trailer. I've got my job box on there right now. Spare tire, of course. I mentioned in my other video, it's got fork slots right here, which is really nice. Oil bath wheels. Tires are still in really great shape after 1 year, no problems at all. Heavy duty D-rings. Multiple tie-down points for this trailer. Spring assist ramps. I think if I were to buy one again, I would like the max ramps just for the sake of convenience. But I don't really have any complaints about these other than the fact that when you're going down the highway, they just make a lot of racket when you're going over bumps and stuff like that. But as far as performance, zero issues at all with the ramps. The only thing that I had happen with this trailer was this fender right here. I was backing the skid loader on because I had no attachment on the front. And if you don't have any attachment on the front trying to get up these ramps, I have done it, but it does get tippy in terms of wanting to tip, of course, backward if you're pulling forward onto the trailer. And what had happened, so I was backing on with no attachment, and since it's not a deck over, I've got about 1 inch to spare between these wheel wells here for the overall width of my tracks on my SVL 97. And I just barely clipped this fender, backed up onto it ever so slightly, and I felt it immediately, pulled off, straightened it out, because you can't see, and then continued to back up onto the trailer, thinking that I probably didn't do any damage to it. Well, anyways, it did. It bent the piss out of it, snapped the welds. Even though this is labeled as a drive over fender, 3/16 diamond plate. Now I don't know what the specs are when Diamond C says that this is a drive over fender in terms of weight capacity. Now, I'll hand it to them. They're probably not saying, hey, you can drive a 14,000 pound skid steer over this fender. They're probably more referring to ATVs, UTVs, maybe a pickup truck or something like that. But nonetheless, I wasn't attempting to drive the track machine over the fender. I just barely clipped it. And like I said, felt it immediately as the back track started to rise on the right side, stopped, pulled off, and that was enough to tweak it. And so anyway, that's my only complaint really, but that's partially user error, I would say, or fully user error, I guess, whatever, you guys be the judge on that. But they made it right. I took it to my local dealer, still under full factory warranty. They did. Diamond C warrantied the bumper. They sent my dealer a brand new bumper, and they cut the old one off, welded the new one on, painted it up. The only downside to that is the powder coat, or whatever coating it is that Diamond C uses when they paint these. That fender doesn't have that. It's just primer and paint, unfortunately, because Diamond C doesn't ship it painted because they've got to weld it on. I suppose they could, if they did ship it painted, they could just maybe grind off the areas, grind the paint off the areas that need to be welded, and then maybe just paint those areas instead of sending the whole fender unpainted. But that's not, I guess, my decision or my concern beyond the experience that I had. So other than that, guys, this trailer has been, it was a good decision. This trailer has been really nice. The questions that I've been getting are, how does the bumper pull do in relation to gooseneck when hauling something that is as heavy as forestry mulcher and a track machine at a little over 14,000 pounds. And so this is an 18K trailer, like I mentioned, 18K GVWR, and the weight of the trailer is 4,000 pounds. I think exactly 4,120 pounds. And my unit weighs, my combined weight is 4,000 pounds, or excuse me, 14,000 pounds. So if you do the math on that, by the time you add in chains and binders, and if I throw my job box on here too, math doesn't lie, we technically are over legal capacity by a few hundred pounds. But mechanically, the trailer has zero issues. And that is, of course, you guys can make that decision on if that matters to you or not. Of course, it does matter to the DOT. In my experience, staying local, you don't really run into a lot of issues with DOT experiences unless you get up on the highways and interstate systems and passing way stations and things like that. But mechanically, this trailer handles the weights beautifully. It's overbuilt, over-engineered. I've had zero issues hauling my equipment around with this trailer. So the only other thing I will say for those of you, and I'm going to make this more so in relation to forestry, just because most machines with a mulching head are in the similar weight class if it's a high flow 100 horse machine. At 20 feet long, by the time you get my machine on here with a mulcher, there's not a lot of extra space, and that's one thing that I don't like, but of course that can easily be solved by just going with a larger trailer, longer trailer. I am still going to be adding a gooseneck deck over trailer to the fleet here at some point with a higher GVWR and longer. I'm probably going to go with a 25 or a 26K or a 25.9 maximum GVWR, which will end up being dual tandem, so 8 wheels total instead of 4. And I'm probably going to go at 32 feet long for that with max ramps, so that way I can have the full length of the trailer instead of 27 plus 5 or something like that, with an unusable dovetail in terms of if I need to store anything towards the tail of the trailer. I like the max ramps because it gives you complete flat deck space, and that's probably what I'm going to do in terms of getting into a gooseneck. And the main reason for that, 2 reasons for my operation, is I don't like the wheel wells for the reason that I just explained to you, where I clipped the bumper or the fender and tweaked it, and it's such a tight fit. I would recommend, if you guys are just getting into this, I would recommend going with a deck over, 102 inches wide, which is actually what this trailer is to the outside of the wheel wells. So if that gives you guys kind of an idea here, if you go outside wheel well to outside wheel well over there, we're at 102 inches wide, which is your standard deck over trailer. And so that just gives you a ton more room to operate when you get your machine up on the trailer. Of course, the wheels are underneath the trailer on a deck over, so you don't have to worry about clipping anything. And a couple of dealers kind of warned me about that when I was getting this trailer in the beginning, but I was a startup at the time and budget was a concern, and it saved me a couple $1,000s by not going with the deck over. So, but it didn't take me long to figure out what those guys were talking about. And of course, I understood the theory behind wanting the deck over, which I just explained to you guys. But until you experience that real world, and when you're on a budget, it's like, I understand what you're saying, but I still think I'm going to go save a couple grand because this trailer will work. You just have to be more cautious than you would be if you were loading onto a deck over. So I will still be adding a gooseneck deck over, and the second reason that I'm going to be adding that is because I'm also going to be probably adding an excavator to the fleet at some point as well. And we're looking fairly seriously between the Kubota KXO 57-5 and then also the KXO 80. And with the 57-5 or even a -4, if we bought a used model, this trailer will work for that. It's a 13,000 pound excavator, so I could use this trailer. But if we go with the 80, that machine weighs up at about 18,000 pounds, and we would be way over capacity on this trailer. It's a big excavator. I wouldn't be comfortable with even trying. I don't even know if it would fit on this trailer, to be honest with you. So we're going to add the gooseneck for that reason as well. So I don't know what route we're going to go. An 18 or a 25K gooseneck Diamond C deck over at 32 foot long runs about 24 grand. So I don't know if I'm going to buy new, because I can find used trailers with those specs on Marketplace, whether it be a PJ or a Big Tex or even some used Diamond Cs for more somewhere between that $10,000 to $15,000 range with a 25K GVWR at 32 feet in length. So, but we're going to be adding it. But that said, I don't necessarily want to get rid of this trailer. In a perfect world, I would like to have both, if that tells you guys anything about how much I like this trailer and what I think about this trailer. So I will say that for you guys just starting out as well, something, if you haven't already dove into this, make sure you dive into the information details with the DOT. And not only should you be figuring out what the specs of your trailer should be for being able to mechanically haul your equipment down the highway, but you, of course, should be figuring out what the specs need to be to legally haul your equipment down the highway, because as I explained initially in the video, legally, I will be overweight by a couple hundred pounds with my current rig, but mechanically, zero issues whatsoever. So with this trailer, another reason that we went with the smaller one at an 18K GVWR instead of a 20K is because initially we wanted to stay under the CDL rating of 26,001 pounds or more. Did not want to have to go get a CDL. And so that was a major reason. Now at 18K, if you guys do the math on this, with this trailer being 18K, and at that time the pickup truck that I had was an F250 with a 350 upgraded suspension. The GVWR of that truck was 10,000 pounds. Added to the GVWR of this at 18,000 pounds, do the math, I know what you're thinking, that's 28,000 pounds. Well, GVWR or CDL territory is 26,001 or more, but the dealer was, I don't know, I know this is probably public information at this point, but the dealer derated the trailer, and they basically sent, or not the dealer, Diamond C sent the dealer new stickers and derated the trailer down to 16K. So this trailer is actually registered at 16K, even though mechanically it's 18K. However, that no longer matters because I upgraded my truck back in late October to from the F250 with the 350 suspension to a Ram 5500 chassis cab flatbed. And so the GVWR of that truck is 19,500 pounds. And added to whether this trailer is derated to 16K or it's just full-scale 18K, we are way, way over the 26,001 pound CDL requirement. And so going to get a CDL ended up being mandatory anyway for us. So not a concern anymore. And of course, when we add the gooseneck at 25K, we're going to be way over CDL territory too. So that's also something to keep in mind if you don't already have a Class A CDL. If you do, then that's not a concern for you. But if you don't, it has gotten considerably more expensive than it ever used to be to go get your CDL. I believe the rule or the law changed somewhere around February 2022, I think, to where you're now required to have some light schooling or classes in order to go get your CDL. You can't just go to the DMV, take your test, and get it. And the classes that are offered, and it may be different throughout the country, but near me, it's between $3,000 and $5,000 for a 3 to 4 week course, depending on what school you choose to get your CDL. And then you go to the DMV, take your test, and get your license on top of whatever license fees the DMV or the DOT requires. So it's not easy to do that. And so if you're trying to stay under CDL, it's going to be really difficult to do in this business. It is possible because I did it, but the reason that we switched from the truck that we had before, which is probably the absolute smallest pickup truck that you would even want to consider towing this much weight with, and even then I just wasn't comfortable with pulling around this much weight. It just felt always like the truck was, like the trailer and the load was working the truck, and I just didn't like that. So we upgraded to the 5500. It's got dual wheels, chassis cab, and it's got an amazing exhaust brake. Maybe I'll do a different review video on the 5500, but those are pretty common trucks for all kinds of different industries. Plenty of videos out there on those trucks. But now, since upgrading to that truck, it's the opposite, where it feels like the truck is in full control of the trailer and the load. And it makes for a much more enjoyable and comfortable towing experience for that much weight. So it's going to be difficult to stay under CDL. In order to do it, you pretty much have to do or execute some sort of scenario I just explained to you. If you're going to get a trailer that is mechanically heavy duty enough to haul a 100 plus horse track loader with a forestry mulcher, it's going to need to at least have an 18K GVWR. And I already explained the math to you guys on that. So it doesn't take much to get over that 26,001 total GVWR combined weight rating between your truck and your trailer. in this industry. Same goes for excavation, various construction jobs and stuff. I don't know, depending on what you do for a business, but in this business where you rely on your equipment, and really heavy duty equipment at that, the weight of your attachments and your machines and chains and binders and job boxes and my grapple, pallet forks, my mulcher, of course, bucket, hundreds, thousands of pounds for those attachments. My grapple weighs 1,500 pounds. The mulcher is almost 3,000. The bucket's 500-600, something like that. So if you're taking multiple attachments with you to the job, for example, then you're gonna end up way over capacity real fast. The advantage to me getting the flatbed and using this trailer is I can now throw my grapple on the flatbed, strap it down when I need to take both my grapple and a mulcher to a job, and so that way I'm not at risk of mechanically overloading the Diamond C here. So I wanted to get on, just do a video here explaining that to you guys, giving you my thoughts about the trailer after 1 year. Everything has held up beautifully. The only thing I will say, other than the bumper or the fender, is the reflective white and red stickers, which I don't even know how to show you guys because there's not many left. So you've got Diamond C ones here, but those aren't the ones I'm talking about. There was some other ones here, and initially there was one here, and the same thing on the other side. Those have since, every time I power washed it, I would lose another one or two, and now I don't have any left other than the ones that actually say Diamond C on them right there. So I know those can be replaced pretty easily, but that was kind of annoying. Every time I would power wash, I would send one flying down the driveway, and they're still floating around my driveway because I haven't picked them up. So if you want to get into minor little things, this here detached from the support bar for the ramp, the cable for the D-ring, or for the linchpin here, not D-ring, snapped off. I could probably fix that relatively easily too, but as you can see, this here is how it's supposed to be. It's just a bolt. It's actually the bolt head is what snapped off, and then of course the cable followed suit. But other than that, guys, the ramps work real nice. Pull the pin here, just pull this off. You can tip it back and it'll stay right there. So we can drop these out of the way. Get my dog out of the way here. Hey, come on, man, watch out. Come here, come on. So if we drop these down, I'm gonna show you guys. They do drop down fairly forcefully, but with the spring assist, I can just take one hand here and flip it up pretty easily. So, I mean, I'm not weak by any means, but I would say anybody could probably do that. They're very easy to tip up and down with the spring assist on them. And then, of course, see if I can do this with one hand here and maybe use my head at the same time. No, I can't. I'll get it reattached later. But anyway, just to show you guys how easy the spring assist ramps work. Again, oil bath wheels, so you don't have to worry about packing them or anything like that, or greasing them up. I don't know if I can give you guys a look underneath the trailer here. I haven't even looked under there myself in a while, so I don't know what you're looking at. Hopefully it's good. But then we've got the little step right here, which I honestly rarely use because it's really not that high off the ground anyway. And one of my favorite things about this trailer is the diamond plate toolbox cover here. So you can actually load this if you want to, but this is the cover for your tool chest. So we just pull that right there, and this is what you got. So store all my chains, binders, road cones. I've got some impact sockets in here, marking paint, of course, ratchet straps, some WD-40 for the binders, and I've got some grease and stuff in here. You can fit a lot of stuff in here. I actually have crawled inside this and laid down. I never included that, I don't think, in the video, and I'm not about to take all my junk out of there just to show you guys, but I'm telling you, you can do it. 5'10", 200 pounds, and so it's just a lot of space in there. Opens and closes real easily, latches nicely. I will say that if you get water on top of this, like there is right now, we got a little bit of snow last night, and then you tip this up, you probably notice if you look right there, you can see water will drain down onto your stuff. So that's one thing that I don't like. So if there's stuff that you don't want to get wet, then I would advise probably not keeping it in here. Now, for the most part, it does a nice job of keeping the weather out. Water is really not getting in there just from when the cover is closed or anything like that. But again, when you open it, it will. The Demco hitch, fantastic. They say that Demco claims that you don't need to use a pin for these, which I had one to start, and I was still pinning it after I would close it and lock it onto my ball. But I lost it at some point in time a couple of months ago. I don't know where it went, and ever since then I have not been using one, and I've had zero issues. The trailer has never even threatened to pop off the ball or anything like that. And lower the jack down onto the trailer or onto your ball, lock it up, and you're good to go. Plenty of length on the chains for hooking up to whatever truck you may have, for whether it's lifted or anything like that, or a drop hitch or anything like that. But just kind of give you guys one overall look of the trailer. You do have 2 grease points here, of course, for your jack. That would be one thing. One more thing I guess I would change if my budget allowed and I bought this again, is I would probably get an electric jack instead of the manual crank. Just not because I can't do it, just because I don't want to do it. It's just quicker if I could just press a button and lift it up and drop it on. But it's not a game changer by any means whatsoever. One other annoying thing too can be the position of this spare tire. If you're bringing your skid loader up here, and whether it's got a mulcher or bucket on it, again, just due to the size, right? Because we're not 102 inches wide on the deck, we're 78 inches wide on the deck. So outside to outside, and you got to just be real careful not to clip that tire. It's happened a couple of times. I've thought about taking it off and just throwing it in the toolbox, but then I filled the toolbox with a bunch of other junk, so now I can't fit the tire in there anymore. But you get used to it. Like I said, we're about a year in on this trailer, and I am going to upgrade to a gooseneck with a higher GVWR and longer with 102 inches wide back over. But I really don't want to sell this one. I would like to keep it. I will if I have to, if it makes sense financially to sell this one and I end up significantly using the other one more and not really touching this one, then maybe I will sell this one. But right now I would love to not, and I would love to just be able to have both of them and see which one shines and which one I end up using more. All right, guys, sorry about that. My camera battery died when I was just trying to finish up with the Diamond C over there. So anyways, that's going to be pretty much, I was wrapping it up anyhow. That's pretty much going to be a wrap for the Diamond C video for what I think after 1 year review. And if there's anything that I didn't cover, please feel free to drop it in the comments down below. I know when I do these videos, there's always a lot on my mind and they get a little bit lengthy, and sometimes I can get scatterbrained and maybe forget to mention things that you guys wanted to know about, or some things that I initially had thought about and just forgot to talk about when I hit the record button. So if there's anything else that you guys want to see or that you guys want to know from somebody who has one and has been running one, please let me know before you go buy one. But I don't really have anything bad to say about it after 1 year, other than the things I just pointed out to you guys. So, but like I said, if I did miss something, feel free to let me know, and I will be sure to comment back just as soon as I can. And let me know what else you guys want to hear about, what other videos you want me to make, and I will do my best to get those coming. I'm going to try to drop one video a week is my ultimate goal. I don't know if I'm going to quite make that or not. Depends on how busy we are in the field, and the editing process takes a while and whatnot for some of these videos. So, but please always like and subscribe. Help me try to grow the channel, bring this information to you guys as somebody who just started out in the industry about a year ago, and am going through this experience and making the mistakes and everything. And I will be happy to outline and document the things that we did successfully, some of the things that maybe I would have done differently. And so please let us know what other content you would like to see, and we will do our best to get that coming to you guys and keep it coming to you guys. So I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys on the next one.